How's everybody doing this fine day? Yeah. I gotta tell you, I come from a very special place. I come from Big Sky country, but I could not be more thrilled to be here with you folks today. I really want to start by just saying how incredibly honored I am to be here with all of you warriors of our wild planet, Northern Rockies. When Matthew asked me to share a reading last week, I was going to be down here for this presentation at Tattered Cover, and I hope y'all come show me some love, because I'm giving my Yellowstone sermon that gave me the nickname The Rev years ago. Amen. About a very wild and spirited place. But when he asked me to come down and do a reading, he said he was going to give me 5 minutes. Now we're up to 10, so I'm going to see what we can do to try and throw some white gas on this powerful fire that you've built here today. I have to say, as someone who's given hundreds if not thousands of environmental presentations over the year, I've never been more humbled, grateful, or excited about a presentation as I am here today, to be standing with you bold, audacious individuals here at the Capitol. Like many of you, I cherish my time exploring the Northern Rockies. For me, it's with my 6-year-old. And these tender moments of wild splendor are truly what fill my cup and lift my spirit. With that said, today is one of the biggest days of my professional life, as I'm having the opportunity to see this labor of love that's taken place over the last decade, this book, Grizzlies on My Mind, released. And I'll have to say, I can't think of a more powerful, meaningful, or more fulfilling way to kickstart this day of days than with all of you here at the state capitol on this glorious, glorious Colorado afternoon. For a writer with a passion for all that is wild, I've also always been inspired to craft new material in the midst of heartache, and see environmental issues, big and small, as an especially good opportunity to write and to speak out and up for our wild planet. Living where I do, much like you folks here in Colorado, amidst a plethora of awe-inspiring mountain ranges, wild rivers, numerous renowned wilderness areas, and a diverse and abundant population of plant and animal species, I never have a drought of material. Sharing a beautiful bluebird day on a recent Sunday with my 6-year-old daughter, parents, and friends, celebrating the return of spring along the banks of the Yellowstone River with raptors soaring overhead, meadowlarks singing their melodic song, my spirit pulsed with gratitude. My spirit overflowed with gratitude for living in the wild place that I call home. I live in one of the most rugged places in the contiguous United States, as do you folks here in this bountiful Colorado. As a single father and guardian of a wild Yellowstone, I often use stories and news reports to share with my little girl our core values, and sharing with her that which is right and that which is obviously very wrong. Sadly, the steady dose of stories in our local paper chronicling the wanton shooting of some of our wildest community members and our insatiable appetite for energy provide me more than enough fodder. One of my core missions as the founder of this Be Audacious movement is to inspire a new surge of guardians, advocates, conservationists willing to stand up for our wild planet in peril. This means having the courage to be vocal and unwavering and bold in defense of wild places and wild species. Standing up for all that is right is not a popularity contest, it's a moral and ethical responsibility, a covenant. It's a covenant that we as a society must embrace. We talk all the time about the next generation, but I think this is a covenant we must embrace for the next 200 generations. So that they can have an opportunity to walk amongst wild country and head up to places like Yellowstone country and set up a tent 20 miles into the backcountry and enjoy a sleepless night with grizzlies on their mind. We need bold, brave, audacious individuals and organizations like the Sierra Club working tirelessly to inspire the next generation of guardians to be a voice for the voiceless. We need passionate people not afraid to tell it like it is, people like yourself throwing haymakers in defense of our wild planet and most important issues, if we hope to provide a livable planet for the next generation and those thereafter. I recently attended a gathering with a handful of grizzly bear advocates in Bozeman, Montana, that left me feeling hopeful and invigorated. I was humbled by the invite and both inspired and uplifted after spending 2 hours with brilliant minds, passionate souls, and audacious guardians of what I believe is the most authentic representation of wildness in the lower 48, the grizzly bear. Looking around this room rich with PhD biologists, I asked our fearless leader why I was included on the invite list, to which she answered, because we have plenty of science, but we need heart, and you are all heart, Michael. Well, I believe you folks here are all heart, or else you wouldn't be here today. And that's what I believe is missing from our movement today. This inspired me to take a deeper look at a question that plagues me on a daily basis on the fringe of wild country where I live on the northern reaches of the greater Yellowstone ecosystem in Bozeman, Montana, where the housing boom relentlessly dismantles habitat at an alarming clip. At what point will our society become empathetic to the plight of other species? When is enough enough? How are we on the verge of undoing so much progress that has been made over the last several decades? In our neck of the woods, after 39 years listed as a threatened species under the Endangered Species Act, local managers, local agencies want to harvest, i.e. kill, grizzly bears in Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. My question to that is there nothing, no living creature, no place that is sacred anymore? If not Yellowstone country and the southernmost population of grizzly bears in the lower 48, I'm not sure what is. But I do know this. One thing is very clear to me. We need a dramatic shift in language, in narrative, in regards to how we speak about our relation to wild places. And I believe this needs to be a narrative of reverence, a narrative of love, a narrative of sacredness, if we hope to provide the next generation a verdant, just, and wild world.
Yeah.
When someone shoots a bear, mountain lion, or a wolf, it's considered a harvest. When a pipeline spills thousands of gallons of oils into our aquifers and watersheds, it's called an unintended consequence. How absurd is this attempt to desensitize us from that which is reality? Perhaps the first step in developing a new and more reverent narrative is to simply tell it like it is. Our planet is in peril. Wild places are facing unprecedented threats with population explosion, a rapidly changing climate. Wildlife habitat continues to shrink as their travel corridors bottleneck to the point of being choked off. The migratory pathways of some of our most charismatic megafauna in this region are being lost. Some estimates say that 200 species per day are going extinct. Now, are we going to allow a massive pipeline to be built?
No.
We've already witnessed the 2011 pipeline break that spilled 63,000 gallons of oil into the Yellowstone River. Now, 4 years later, they're proposing a massive pipeline to be built under the waters of the longest free-flowing river in the lower 48 states. Does this make any sense?
No.
Hell no, it doesn't make any sense. Carl Safina recently said, "A compulsive craving for no limits to economic growth and human numbers is irrational. A finite planet comes with limits." We don't need another study to tell us that climate change is real and happening now. And we sure as heck don't need another peer-reviewed paper telling us that this pipeline is a bad idea. What we need is action. What we need is heart and courage. What we need is to be audacious. No matter what the president decides in regards to this Keystone Pipeline, we can't let it be built because it's apocalyptic. It's long overdue that we as a civilization adopt a land ethic worthy of our planet, worthy of our children, worthy of my daughter and your sons and daughters and the generations to come. In closing, I'd like to ask you all to raise your right hand, just humor me for a minute, and place it over your heart. Because I firmly believe that the preservation of wild places such as the Uncompahgre Wilderness, the San Juan Mountains, where I've had the opportunity to explore, places like Yellowstone, reside in the single most important piece of core habitat we have left on this planet, and that's that of the human heart. We only fight to save what we love, and we only love what we know. In the end, the fate of a wild Yellowstone, of a northern Rockies, is in our hands. The wild heartbeat of this region, its scenic rivers, valleys, mountains, its grizzly bears, wolves, bison, elk, trout, and countless other plant and animal species will only be here in the future if we want them here bad enough, if we're willing to advocate and be a champion on their behalf. I believe the symbolism that's represented by the integrity of places like Yellowstone and the Northern Rockies extend far beyond their boundaries. For if we can't inspire commitment to this region, this spectacular audacious landscape that is the Northern Rockies, I fear we won't find the audacity to preserve the last of our world's iconic wildlands. The fate of our wild planet is therefore intertwined with the fate of a wild Yellowstone, a wild Rockies. The rugged vastness of the Northern Rockies transforms the soul of those who know its wild splendor. Its harshness and magnificence inspire a gritty determination and burning desire to explore all that we may one day become. When you experience the raw power of wilderness, your soul awakens to the essence of love. Wilderness, my friends, is a love worth fighting for. For a wild world, for a wild Yellowstone, for an even wilder Northern Rockies, let us be audacious. And quoting my favorite sign out there, pipelines spill and tar sands kill. I got nothing but love for you. Go do your thing. Be audacious. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Michael Leach, everybody. Come on, give it up for him. Give him some love. Give him some love.